Hey guys, I'm Dov, and today I'm back with another Total War news update. Today we've got another post from the Total War teams, what they're working on November 2018, so let's go ahead and dive straight into it. So, Thrones of Britannia, which I'm not gonna lie, I have not played at all. It's one of the few Total War titles, I guess you could call it, that I haven't really played. Might jump into it at some point, but they are pushing out updates, continuing to take feedback, and looks like they're going to be adding a new difficulty option for the political system, which if it's anything like Attila's political system, that would be very welcome. I really wish that they would push some of these updates back to Attila as well, but that's a topic for another video. Three Kingdoms, which I haven't really talked too much about, but I am very, very excited for. Obviously, a lot of you guys may have seen the diplomatic trailer they have released. If not, you should definitely go check it out. The new diplomacy systems in Three Kingdoms definitely seem a lot more robust and are going to be super, super fun. So I'm going to be ramping up my own coverage of Three Kingdoms as we get closer to release. And yeah, they do talk a little bit in this post about this system here, how you're going to be ranking up and trying to achieve the title of Emperor, and there can be up to 3 Emperors. Once that happens, the existing child Emperor Xian, I'm sure I'm pronouncing that wrong, will abdicate, and Dong Zhuo controls him at the beginning. And if you take Dong Zhuo's capital, you can potentially, become Emperor beforehand. But I guess trying to move you towards that Three Kingdoms aspect with the sort of 3 emperors. They talk about it a little bit here, so I definitely recommend you guys go check out the post itself and read more if you are interested. Let's see here, Three Kingdoms, they do talk about they're still finishing up the Yellow Turban Rebellion pack, which I understand there's been some backlash, I guess you could say, within the community about it. Personally, the way I see it with these early adopter bonuses is this is something that's mandated likely by Saga, the publisher, that they have to do this because it's, it has shown to be effective in the past, and it also allows them to give away some content potentially for free that might otherwise be paid for. I understand a lot of the time the financial decisions made by the publisher is sort of driving often what content, not necessarily what content gets created, but how that content may be structured and so on. And considering some of the other situations, for lack of a better word, we've seen with some other publishers recently, this seems pretty benign to me, especially because it's, an early adopter bonus, meaning that you can purchase, if it's anything like with previous packs, like Warriors of Chaos and so on, you'll actually get it if you get the game within the first few weeks of release, so heavily incentivizes Creative Assembly to make sure it's good when it comes out, that it doesn't release in a broken state. They've already delayed Three Kingdoms, which I thought was a really good move, so honestly not the biggest issue, and they are starting pre-production on their post launch DLC, which, obviously that happens with every game, so no surprise there. Arena, poor Arena, press F in the comments to pay respects. Arena is going to be shutting down. I know I never really played it, wasn't the biggest fan of it, but it's, sad to see a Total War project like this go down. That being said, they do say that these staff are going to be folded into other Total War teams. They've learned some valuable lessons, and hopefully, the technology that they've developed and some of the skills that they've developed will be able to be applied to other titles going forward. So, not the end of the world there. I'm sure what most of you on my particular channel are excited about, though, is this particular section right here, the fantasy new content. So, some very important news here. Vampire Coast, they're very happy with how it's been received. They're taking time to look at fan feedback, looking at Total War Warhammer 2 in general. And they're going to look at releasing an open beta before the holidays to fix some bugs. They also want to update the Total War Warhammer 1 races skill trees to be more in line with their Total War Warhammer 2 counterparts. Definitely some good stuff there. And do some general quality of life fixes. So hopefully we see a patch before Christmas. I'm not a guarantee by any means, but certainly this definitely makes me think that we are going to see some kind of patch before Christmas, New Year's, potentially. So yeah, definitely looking forward to that. Launcher, this is something that I haven't really talked much about, but they are going to be updating a launcher, which is going to be pretty cool. Looks pretty slick overall. They are releasing a beta for it, so yeah, good stuff there. In terms of the fantasy team for Game 3, of course, they do release a little bit of a teaser here. The fantasy team is in a world of their own. It is a dark world pulled apart by ceaseless conflict, but this is where the magic happens. Obviously, more hints towards the dark lands and the realms of chaos in, you know, the northern wastes. It's long been speculated and sort of theorized that Game 3 is going to be all about demons of chaos, that particular area of the world. So you're looking at demons of chaos, you know, ogre kingdoms, the chaos dwarfs, potentially some other factions. You know, with the release of the Vampire Coast and Norsca, we've seen that Creative Assembly can kind of do these spin-off factions that weren't necessarily canon to the tabletop. So I'm thinking potentially we may see something like Kislev, just because there's not really another quote-unquote order type faction in that area that they could really leverage, and to me it seems like from a marketing perspective you would want to have at least one order faction that's sort of relatable to people who like that sort of thing. You know, people who want to play the good guys, as it were. So potentially we could see Kislev in this sort of geographic region. Less likely, I think, would be nations like Ind or Cathay. I don't know that Creative Assembly would go necessarily that far, but I guess it kind of depends. If Three Kingdoms is just a runaway success, maybe they decide to squeeze Cathay in there, potentially. And it's also going to be interesting to see how the Demons factions are broken up. Are we going to get a single unified, you know, Demons of Chaos? Is it going to be God-specific? How is that going to affect the Warriors of Chaos as we know them currently in the game? There's a lot of questions to be answered there, but that's all far in the future. But these are questions, I'm sure, that are being actively debated at Creative Assembly's offices right now. So those of you guys who have thoughts on the topic, go ahead and voice your opinion in the comments down below. Of course, try and be respectful. But yeah, let me know your guys' thoughts. Lots of good news overall here. Total War Access is working on something secret. Suffice to say, it's a diversion from the norms, so probably some cool art or something. I'm not really sure. Those of you who are not signed up to Total War Access, I would definitely recommend you do so. So overall, Total War seems to be in a very good place. Lots of projects going forward. Oh, I almost skipped over as well. There's a Rome 2, the Rome 2 team, looking at pushing out a patch for Rise of the Republic. I haven't played Rise of the Republic on my channel at all, but I have played campaign, you know, just on my own time here and there. Well, it was actually a few months ago. I haven't played it for a while, but overall I thought it was pretty good, and I think that if they continue to release content for Rome 2, honestly, that's fine by me. I really enjoyed the game. Honestly, even to this day, enjoy the game like more so than Attila and many of the other historical titles as well. So Rome 2, really, in my opinion, one of the it released in a pretty rough state, but as it is right now, I mean, it's how many years down the road, and Creative Assembly's, you know, still releasing updates to it, which what that means exactly for the Warhammer part of the franchise, I'm not really sure. You know, Game 3's in development right now. We likely won't see it for a couple of years. I would say probably 2020 if I was guessing. This is just purely speculation. I don't really have any evidence to back this up, but just you know, based on how things seem to be developing currently, I would definitely say probably 2020 for Total War Warhammer 3. In terms of content for Total War Warhammer 2, obviously we still need to get the Lord Pack for Lizardmen and Skaven. They don't mention that at all here, but they have said previously that that's going to be coming after you know, the new year. So sometime, my guess is probably sometime after Three Kingdoms. we're going to be seeing that that pack for the Lizardmen and the Skaven. And then beyond that, I'm not really sure. You know, they could potentially pull in another faction. They could potentially do more free LC, like a free LC faction like they did with Britannia. They could do another paid faction potentially. There's a lot of other factions in the geographic area of the Southlands and, you know, Lustria, those Nagaron, those other places. A lot of other minor factions, and honestly, with the Vampire Coast, I didn't think that they would ever get the treatment as a full faction, so that opens up factions like Amazons. You know, potentially they could pull in something with, what's that island? Oh, you guys are going to hate me in the comments now. I totally blanked out. Albion, that's it. So they could pull in something with Albion. You know, Southern Realms are also still on the table as well. Although with the Vampire Coast occupying Sartosa, I think Southern Realms is less likely, but it's still definitely a possibility, you know, like a proper maybe pike and shot style faction with some heavy emphasis on mercenaries, like maybe more regiments of renown than other factions. Just purely speculation at this point, guys, but I'm expecting, I guess the point is, more DLC for Total War Warhammer 2, because I'm not expecting Total War Warhammer 3 for quite some time. They're obviously going to want to keep excitement, keep new content going for as long as possible, so I do think that we'll see some kind of new content after the Skaven Lizardmen DLC. As to what form that takes, I'm not really sure. Let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments down below about that topic as well. Lots to discuss today, so I look forward to chatting back and forth with you all. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you like this sort of content, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification button, so every time I upload a new video, you'll be notified. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time.